Peace to everyone here on the planet. We are live. Let me let some people come in. I'm going to play some music for my guests here. I don't see people in the building yet, so I'm going to let some people come in. I do have a guest here. Wait, why do I hear myself? Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Peace to everybody here. I do have a special guest today, Ahsha, Fiyah Harris. And we're going to talk about, I call this one Poetry, Music, and Self-Mastery. And I just came up with that title. And I think it's very appropriate. I think this person that I have here is a master in her own right. She's a poet. I also consider her a scholar. I met her on Facebook, actually, during the summer. And we were talking about, she was just talking about the riot situation and just expressing her feelings and her emotion. But the fire that came out, it had magnetic power to where I was drawn in just to listen to her and listen to her words and listen to what she was saying. And the level of knowledge and insight that she delivered was remarkable. So I'm going to play some of her music, let some of y'all come in. And if you are here, just drop something, let me know you're here, drop something in the chat, drop a piece, drop a shout out. And actually, before I even play the music, I think I'm gonna just bring her on. So Ahsha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, perfect. So so my guest is here. Actually, let me put us on both screens so y'all can see both of us. So peace, Ahsha, how are you?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing out there? I hope everybody's doing great.
Yes. Thank you for joining the channel. I appreciate
Thank you
it.
for having me on.
Yes. Please, you guys that are in the chat or coming in, show Ahsha some love. And thank you for your participation and thank you for joining the channel. Um, I'm going to be asking questions, so I won't be talking as much as I usually do. I hit you guys with 2 videos yesterday, so hopefully you guys have, gotten the wisdom that has been channeled through me to give to you guys to deliver. So, but I want to talk a little bit about this new moon real quick before I start asking Ahsha questions, and I'm going to ask her about that as well. I just want to go in to bring in some insights to you guys as we discuss this full moon and this lunar eclipse that's happening. This lunar eclipse that happened. This is what happens when you have women around. You start getting tongue-tied and things like that, right? Through the magnetic attraction. So we are basically this lunar eclipse. It's when we're dealing with Gemini, we're dealing with communication. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is the planet of communication. So just like in the Bible, John 1:1, it says what? In the beginning was the Word was God, and the Word became a God. So what they were basically saying is that your self-talk, not even the talk that you have out of your mouth, because a lot of times when we think about communication, we're thinking about simply the words that are coming out of our mouth, the words that we are uttering. But what about the words that we communicate here? What about our mental chatter? The way that we speak about ourselves, the way that we speak about our environment, the way that we speak about our lovers, the way that we speak about our children, the way that we speak about our workplace, the way that we speak about our family and events. In here, when we wake up in the morning, what do you tell yourself about your day? What do you tell yourself about your evening? What do you tell yourself about money? Right? Do you think only rich people? Do you think only people, well, money? Do you think only the rich and the elite are allowed to have money and wield money? Do you think only bad people have money? Right? This is how we've been taught, right? Do you think if you become successful, you automatically have to join the secret society, right? A lot of people, that's in the background of their head. They don't even realize that communication, watching all these conspiracy videos on a repetitious basis over and over, is really not helping them ascend, because you're erecting all these barriers in your own imagination through the information that you're taking in. So it's affecting your communication. So we want to be on point with how we are not only communicating from the tongue, but also how we are communicating mentally. So the affirmations are key around this time. You guys may have been feeling very dreamy, very airy, right? Your perspective, you may, like I myself have been in the clouds like all week. My head is just feels like I've been in constant meditation. And, but it's been a meditation where I have had to work through a lot of shadow work, but a lot of mental shadow work, not a lot of physical shadow work, but a lot of mental shadow work. And what that mental shadow work is just me basically chopping up old ideas and destroying these old ideas. And a lot of it is just through visualization, through constant repetitious visualization of me reaffirming and feeling the emotion and visualizing how that new reality looks. So feeling how it feels, visualizing it, having a vision, and also affirming it over and over and over again, right? Looking at my mirror in the morning, as I told you guys before in the other video, and affirming myself every day. And this kind of helps you work through this shadow period. As we're going into this lunar eclipse, there's also another eclipse, solar eclipse, December 14th, right? So this is the time really for you to get your mind right. And the fact that it's in Gemini, the sign of the twins, you're dealing with left hemisphere, right hemisphere, you're dealing with left hand path, right hand path. So you're dealing with balance, right? And you're also dealing with how you express yourself in the outside world. There's also another form of communication that we know, which is body language. Okay, how do you stand up? Do you stand up straight? Do you sit up straight? When you come to people, are you confident or are you shy, right? These things, shyness and, you know, not being confident and not expressing yourself. This year is the time, it's 2020, right? 2 + 2 is 4. 4 corners of a square, north, south, east, and west, right? 4 directions here on the earth, right? And so on. So this is about erecting a foundation with clear vision, a foundation of clear vision and clarity, not of the world around you, not of all the tragedies, but of who you are, and truly getting to the point where you know thyself. So the rituals that I would suggest for anyone that is going through this time period, and I'll be live again tomorrow to talk with y'all a little bit, but the rituals that y'all really want to get into are rituals that not deal with necessarily material things. And I know a lot of people are suffering materially. They lost homes, they lost jobs, you know what I'm saying? Family members, XYZ. So I know a lot of people are suffering materially. But guess what will get you through all that suffering? Spiritual power and a peace of mind, which is what spiritual power gives you. When you have the ability to manipulate your environment, when you have the ability to create your reality, things that happen in the outside world don't affect you as much as it does the average knuckle dragger who is not doing any type of spiritual work, does not know how to cope, does not know breathing techniques, does not know meditation, does not have an altar, does not communicate with their ancestors and so forth and so on. People that are not doing this type of work, they don't have this frame of reference. So therefore, when tragedy hits, because it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter how great your health is, it doesn't matter how beautiful your husband or wife is, tragedy is going to hit all of us at some point in time, right? It doesn't matter. So peace of mind is what you need. You need to develop mechanisms, spiritual mechanisms, so that your spirit and your vibration could constantly stay high. And if not even just for yourself, when these things happen, you could be the rock. You could be strong for your family. And that's where the real strength comes from. You know, they always talk about, you know, strong Black women or strong Black men. But what is the source? What is the true source of strength? Because a lot of us think it's gangsterism. A lot of us think it's just beauty and being the most beautiful woman in the world, or even the most beautiful male, the toughest man, you know what I'm saying? Or the greatest, the woman with the greatest game. She can finesse, you know, whoever she wants to finesse. And likewise, a male being a Don Juan. And these are false sources of power. So we really need to determine and understand that the source of true power comes within. It comes from developing that Kundalini energy. It comes from working with these chakras that I discuss and talk to you guys about all the time. It comes to really being honest with yourself and honest about yourself, and knowing there's some shit that you need to change. There are things that you need to transform. You are not perfect, and you cannot rest on your laurels. And until you, and in fact, there's no time to my understanding and wisdom and from observing life, there's no time where you really get it all. You know what I'm saying? There's no time where it's really done. Like, this is a constant, daily, repetitious thing that you have to get into. So part of this new moon in Gemini is also choosing, or this full moon, sorry, and it being a lunar eclipse. Like, it's huge, it's big. So a part of this is also determining rituals that you have for yourself, daily rituals. How, when you wake up in the morning, you should have a ritual. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's you listen to certain frequencies, 432, 528, 33 hertz, whether you're listening to affirmations, whether you're listening to certain music playlists that inspire you, whether you watch videos in the morning from people that inspire you and motivate you, right? You should have rituals, especially when you start the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, if your ritual is just to go to work, then you're starting the day already on your external self. If your whole focus is just how to get to work, then you're already outside of yourself. And the more outside of yourself you are, the more you're able to easily be manipulated by the outside world. And that is the goal of this whole shit. Divide and conquer you, right? Have you man against woman, black against white, you know what I'm saying? This even human against alien. You know what I'm saying? The society is even programmed us as if an alien dropped down here right now, that we would probably want to kill the alien first and foremost, because that's how we've been condition. Everything is about division, clashes, fighting. So we have to come to a realization of not to fight or not to be engaged in these external fights, but fight the real war, which is within self. The only war is within self. The only war is self-mastery. The only war is self-discovery. That's the true war on a day-to-day basis. Everything else on the outside world, it has to be handled by you. You have to handle it. Even if there's a president, even if there's a leader, there's a boss, husband, wife, whatever, you still got to make your own individual decision on how you're going to handle things. It's you who's going to get these downloads from the universe that's going to prepare you for the December 21st, for the December 14th. These downloads that we're getting and these things that we talk about, you know what I'm saying? Those of us that are in this community and those that are doing the work and those of us that are sincere about our spiritual development, you're prepared for these downloads. You know how to invest. You know the people to look for. You know the people to align with. So this time period that we have in 2020 is very, very, very crucial that you discover what your purpose is. Like Nipsey said, know your purpose or you wasting air, which is true. Discover what your purpose is. And two, actively work towards that purpose and developing and fixing any weaknesses that stop you from achieving that goal. That's really the whole purpose of this spiritual thing. Any weaknesses that distract you from achieving self-mastery, that's the goal. You can get all the spiritual powers in the world. Get the clairvoyance, the clairaudience. You could even be like motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, Magneto and shit. You know, however powerful you want to be spiritually and psychically, you could get all that. And you could still go through a coronavirus and fuck your whole life up and still be stressed out and still not be able to cope and still be destroying your family and still be talking down to your kids, et cetera, because you fucked up and you don't know how to handle life as it comes. So all the spiritual abilities in the world are not going to save you if you don't first save yourself and know thyself, so that you can navigate through this universe as powerful as you truly are, as powerful as that sperm that shot from your daddy's nutsack and hit the egg. All right. So that's just what I want to talk about. Let me get the queen in here. Ahsha, I think you're on mute. So take yourself off mute. And let's start, since we started with the full moon, I'm going to go back. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go back circle. But give the family, I'm going to shut up. Give the family some insights and maybe some things that you're working on for this lunar eclipse upcoming tomorrow and things like that, you know, and what they may need to look for, may need to work on.
Well, myself, since I am an air sign, I'm a Libra. My day is Friday, so I really like Friday. Friday is my really, really high vibrational day, so I like to do things on Fridays. And I think that as far as preparing for what's to come, I'm doing more self-love and more shadow work, because I think those are the things that we really need to focus on right now, especially with a lot of us who've had things that have happened in our lives that we pretty much like over the years we've swept those things under the rug, or maybe forgot about those things, or maybe it's things that we have like triggers that are triggering us that we didn't even know we had. And I think that's mainly what we need to all kind of be focusing on right now, because look at the world today. Most people are triggered. People are
Hmm.
triggered right now to go out and riot. You
Yep.
know, people are triggered right now to go and steal and kill. And what's triggering them to do these things? So it's got to be something mainly within. And just like you said, Rob, we have to go within. It's all about going within and mastering what's going on within, because that is truly the real war. You know, at the end of the day, we've all been under a spell. That's a lot of damage that we have to come away from. So that in itself is a lot to master. So yeah, I think self-love and any type of shadow work that you can do right now is the best thing that you could do for yourself. And I think pretty much once you do that, and you always keep in communication with your ancestors, then you pretty much are under protection, I think.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yeah, yes. Peace to that. That it is. I totally agree with what you're saying. Ahsha, you mentioned something that sparked a thought in me for a question. And as I told you, I'm gonna be asking questions from the heart, so they're gonna be all over the place. But the question I want to ask you, and I know a lot of give me the perspective of self-love, right? What is self-love, or what would you define as self-love? And give me your vantage point being dealing with the sexes. So self-love as a woman, and what do you think is self-love as a man? And do you think they're both the same, or do you think they're both the same type of love? Like it's the
Of
same
love.
type of energy.
Um, well, we know that there is high energy and there is low energy, and there is masculine energy and there is feminine energy. So we know that it has to be a balance at some point in time. I personally feel like self love as a being, as just your being, your inner self. That voice that's coming through this avatar that you have every day. That self love of that, because I can go and look in the mirror every day and I can say, oh my goodness, I don't like the way my hair is styled. I don't like my eyes. I don't like the way my lips look. But that's because it's I've been programmed to believe that I am to look a certain type of way, when this is my avatar. This is not even who I am. This is just the vehicle that I drive in on a daily basis. Just like I have a Lexus or a Mercedes Benz or a Tesla to drive around in. This is my vehicle. But I need to learn to love what is within that being, that life force that's within me, because it came from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I've been lied to about where it originated from.
Mm.
So
Talk about it.
So just knowing that I've been lied about where that originated from is enough to make me want to love it even more and explore where it did originate from, why it originated, what is its purpose here, what is it doing in this avatar other than existing or going to work and punching in a clock for 40 hours and getting paid every other Friday and standing in the welfare line if I don't have enough money to pay my rent or to buy my children food. It's something within me that says that I deserve better than this, and that I know that this is not the life that's meant for me. So self-love of just knowing that you're great and that you deserve greatness is alone very powerful, because once you know that, you understand why you need to acknowledge things in a different way. Instead of saying I'm broke, have a different mindset. You know, that money is going out to circulate to bring more money in. instead of it looking at it in a negative way. So I would say self-love of just who you are within the life force that you are. And is it different for men than it is for women? It's all the same because we all came from the same. We all are a life force. We all are energy. We all are a frequency. So the love should still be there. It's just that it's not being pushed in front of us for us to pull from. I guess that's in a sense.
Mm, mm. Yeah, good. Definitely great perspective. Ahsha, I guess we should get into what is give me how do you come up with the name Ahsha Fiyah Harris, and tell the God bodies who you are.
Okay. Uh Let me see. Ahsha Fiyah Harris went down my journey when I came from Christianity. Before I came on the journey that I'm on now, I was Church of Christ. I remember the Church of Christ all my life, pretty much deeply rooted. When church was open, I was there. It was later on that I realized a lot of the things inside the Bible were changed, and that sparked a flame in me that's pretty much been burning for the past 7 years. And I went from there to Hebrew Israelites. And when I first started out doing my poetry, I was Libra fire. And
Mm.
according to Hebrew Israelites, I could not be named after a zodiac sign
Oh
that was
wow.
evil and witchcraft and woo, spooky.
Yeah. Right. And you think of 2020, people are still scared and spooky.
Yeah. So they said I could not use that name. So they gave me a different name, and it was Asharia. And I said, well, that's kind of long. People not going to really remember that name. I'm barely going to remember that name. So I shortened it to Ahsha.
Mm.
And the fire is basically short for fire, or basically another wording or acronym for fire. And the name Asharia actually means fire lioness. And I said, well, that kind of suits me because I can kind of be a lion, a nurturing woman. I could be strong and firm when I need to and protecting. I said, so it kind of fitted me. But as I got to doing more research, I stumbled up on the fact that Ahsha is actually the name of a female goddess.
Mm.
Yeah.
Look at that.
And it was a goddess that's actually mentioned in the Bible that nobody even knows that's in there. So I said, that's really neat how the universe moved me to do all these things. My government last name is Harris. So when I started doing radio, I was Sister Fiyah Harris. So,
Okay.
Facebook, they won't let you change your name. So I just use
Mhm.
Ahsha Fiyah Harris.
Got you. Talk to talk to me and the God bodies about the journey and the struggle as far as family and transitioning, and also today friends and things like that. A lot of people have friends, they have family. Thanksgiving just happened, so there's a lot of people. I did a video recently called guard, basically about the new moon and guard your energy, because there's a lot of energy vampirism that's going on
Oh,
that
yeah.
people are not
Oh,
aware of.
yes.
It's always
Yes.
around, but being that we are basically traveling through the underworld mentally, going into this age of Aquarius, there's like a whole ton of vampirism, and it's on the high. Like even the scams are about to ramp up seriously because it's Christmas season. So that
Yeah.
the texts and the emails and you can make $5,000 in 24 hours contacting you.
Yes.
These things that
Yes.
are coming. So talk to us a little bit about the struggle, getting past the veil that they put in us, getting through the family obstacles, and remaining true to who you are in your individual uniqueness as a god or a goddess.
Well, my journey has been a very interesting one. Again, I came from a Church of Christ religion. So that pretty much was under the Paul doctrine. So women did not speak. We did not do anything. We were silent. The man pretty much ran the household, and the woman did what she was told. So that's kind of like how I grew up. I have 8 other siblings besides myself. Out of those other siblings. It's only one of them besides me, one of my younger sisters, that's even close to where I'm at as far as spirituality, but even she is not as deep into it as me. But when I first came away from Church of Christ religion, and I found out they had changed all these names in the Bible and the names for God and quote unquote Jesus, and I started doing all this research, and I was like, wait a minute, the Catholic Church did this and the Romans did that. And I'm checking, I'm like, wait a minute, some of these tombs over here in Egypt, wait a minute, some of those are ancestors. I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? So I went and told my mom about it. Actually, I told my siblings, they laughed. It was funny. Uh, my mom called me a devil. Yeah.
don't they all?
Oh, I was a devil. Yeah, the whole family was like, yeah, that's a devil over there. That's a devil worshiper, and it was a hard time. And when I first just really came away from it, I just sat in my room and cried for like a whole day because I just couldn't believe that I had just been lied to like this, and when I did go to family gatherings, at first it was very uncomfortable because I'm the devil worshiper. So all I could think of to talk about was spirituality and how we've been lied to. It's like no matter what, the conversation would always come up. You really can't get away from it. No matter what comes up, you're gonna want to pour it out. Spirit is gonna be on you to pour out. So I couldn't hide that. With my children, it was a transition as well because again, like I said, I went from Christian Church of Christ to Hebrew Israelite, and then I started following the Old Testament laws, and I realized that that's not it either, because no way I could keep
very
614
antiquated.
laws.
Very antiquated.
Yes, I was like, no, this can't be it. This can't be it. So I kept on researching, and I ended up studying the Kemetic teachings and going from there and going into studying other things. But over the years, I've always been very intuitive and clairvoyant. I've always been able to read people's energies and feelings. I've always been into tarot cards and things like that. And the best thing I can say is do what's best for you, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. We're here to go back to who we naturally are, our natural selves. So all I can say is a lower frequency is not going to be able to totally understand that. So do keep that in mind when you go to family members and talk to them. Just you can't give it too much at one time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how did those
Yeah, you gotta, just
conversations?
like the Bible said, they gotta be able to chew the meat and be able to spit the bones out, but they babes, so they need milk.
Yeah.
So you can't go to them and tell them, say, hey, do you know that we're actually supposed to be ascending and you can raise your chakras and your kundalini is gonna rise? They're going to be like, what is wrong with you? I don't know what you're talking about. So give it to them a little bit at a time, and don't try to pressure it. Just drop a seed every now and then, and you will be surprised just what that little bit of seed is, because now it's 2020. I have nieces and nephews, and I have over 40 nieces and nephews, and half of those are older children, teenagers, and young adults. And they're coming to me now asking me, Amy, what about this? What about the crystals? What about chakras? How do I stay grounded? I mean, these are my nieces and nephews, the children of the same siblings that I have is calling me a devil. So you just never know who you're touching, or what it is that you're actually dropping off when you just give a little bit at a time. Sometimes you just have to give a little bit and just be happy with that, and know that everybody is on their own journey, and their mom or grandmom or sister or brother or even one of your children or your spouse, they're going to have to go through this journey as well on their own at their own time, and they're going to be moved when their spirit allows them to be moved, regardless to how we want them to move a little faster.
Excellent. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I know we were talking earlier before this, and we're discussing how everyone is on their own individual path.
That's right.
Everyone's path is not the same. Some people
Not at all.
are here to be warriors. Some people are here to be scholars. Some people are here to be architects. Some people like yourself here to do art and, music and things like that, So everyone has a different purpose and pathway. I was talking about last night, I dropped a video, channeled the video because that's definitely a channel. And I was talking about eldership, and talk to the guy body about what is your perspective on eldership, parenting, and preparing, children and your role in eldership coming into this age of Aquarius that we're going into?
As far as eldership, my children already know about. I even taught them about how to pay homage to the ancestors, and they have their own way of actually doing that. And I think that actually helps children understand the importance of having elders and the things that our elders had to experience and go through, and the trials and tribulations that they actually experienced to get us here. Because so much over the years, all we heard is just forget about the past, don't worry about the past, just leave it in the past. But it was loved ones that we have that suffered, and that paved the way, and that went through certain things, and withstood certain things, and sacrificed certain things to be able for us to even be able to incarnate here, to be able to do what we're doing. So I teach the importance of just paying, that respect to the ancestors. I don't force them a certain way to do it. They come and ask me suggestions. I give out suggestions, or they ask how I do it, and then I do it, and I let them be who they are. And I also teach them to be creative. And that's something that we all kind of experienced growing up with this matrix society, not being able to be ourselves and be able to create things the way that we would create. So I allow them to just be themselves and do it that way. But I think that to me instills a lot of respect, just knowing that you should honor what came before.
Definitely, definitely. I totally agree. Uh, Now, give a what, because I know you said you let them be creative. How did you guide them? Because a lot of us have children, we're trying to figure out, because we want our children and the next generation, obviously, to be better than what we were.
Mhm.
That's what, we want growth. The universe is about expansion, and it's expanding every day.
Okay, so well, what I
So we
do
want to
is
expand as well, and our future and our lineage. So what,
Mhm.
yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh,
You know what
I'm
I'm going
sorry.
to
I
ask you,
think it
so
was
go
like a little bit of a
ahead.
delay, so you were still talking. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, no, no. I was going to ask you, just little examples of, I know you said you want your children to use their own imaginations, but how
Mhm.
did you get them, like, even in the beginning, like what, direction or guidance or nurturing, I should say, actually
Okay.
nurturing, did you
Okay.
give them to get them
Well,
to the
so what
point
I would
where,
do is, since
yeah,
I'm an artist and I write, my children, they pretty much love to write. They all got the gift of being able to write, and write stories and poems and songs and things like that. So I would always tell them when they had certain issues to write, because it gets it out. Whatever feelings you have inside, it helps to bring those things forth, and it also helps with therapy. So I use the same thing when I'm dealing with the ancestors. I write. I do my money. I burn my money, my ancestor money. I write on my money. I write affirmations to the ancestors. I'm kind of weird. I do a lot of different weird, crazy things, like for
talk
my
about it, talk
grandmother.
about it.
For
Yeah,
my
yeah, yeah, talk about it, because we all
for my
do.
and so this is where my children get some of the ideas from. Like for my grandmother's birthday, she she really loved Ray Parker Jr. And so I took her picture and put it up, and I surrounded all my other relatives photos around, and we actually had like a round table meeting for her birthday. And I lit candles and we all sang. Yes, we all
Mm,
sang happy birthday to my grandmother, and we played Ray Parker Jr.
nice.
I played all of Ray Parker Jr.'s hits. She loved Jack and Jill by Ray Parker Jr. And she also liked what is the other song? I think it was The Other Woman. Like, I'm in love with the other woman. But she loved Ray Parker Jr. So we was we set up, and listen to Ray Parker Jr. songs, and I just danced around the room, and just made it like a party, and made it interesting and fun. And then, like, for my brother's birthday, he was my older brother. I took out, some libations for him, and played some music, kind of music that he liked, and just celebrated. So that's pretty much what I do. It's a celebration. It's nothing to be sad about. I feel like that's what we've been taught, to be sad and grieving and gloomy, and we're not supposed to be sad because our ancestors are not having to deal with what we're having to deal with in this realm. That's something to be happy about, not nothing to be sad about. So,
Right.
and then I also teach them that we don't die.
Right.
So I think that's the main importance, to teach your children that we do not die. When we transition from this avatar, this inner us is not dead. It's the avatar that's going back to the earth, not you. So I teach them that. I don't teach them to be sad. If I leave today, my children know they don't need to be sad or crying or anything, because I'm not dead. So, and I don't teach death that way. And I think that really impacts a child when you tell them, that their mom or their loved one is just gone, and there's nothing else they can do. They're never going to be able to communicate with that person again. And that's tragic.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't do that. And I don't tell people how to do their children, but I teach life. And that's what I teach. When I leave here, my spirit is still gonna be with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to sit down in your room and have a full conversation with me, you can still do just that.
That's
So
correct.
I try to teach that, and I make it interesting. Don't just look at it like I gotta have a whole lot of money to go buy this and that. Just being able to sit in your mind to yourself, and just acknowledging, or just closing your eyes and just envisioning your ancestors, and just paying a homage to them that way. You can do that. There's so many different ways you can do it. It's not always about buying things and putting things together. It's more about how I think it's more about your intentions. I put it that way. It's more about the intent behind what it is you're doing.
Yeah, the energy. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
energy and the emotion that
Mm-hmm.
you put behind it. Yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
really the most important
Mm-hmm.
thing. The emotion and the energy, because everything is energy. Everything starts out with energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Even
because
even our interpretation.
I can go and buy the biggest candles and the biggest crystals, and make the biggest altar. But at the end of the day, if my intentions when I go before these ancestors is not good, they're gonna know that. So I also let people understand, like, even when they're working with other deities and things like that, I say these deities are just like you and I. You don't go to somebody you don't know begging and think
Right,
that they gonna just be happy with that. I don't even know you, and you asking me for money and fame and fortune.
right. You just hopped off, as they say, you just hopped
You
off
don't
the
even
porch.
establish no kind of relationship with me. You ever heard that?
Yeah,
You
you
using
just
me?
hopped off the porch and you
Yeah,
saw somebody on Facebook that said they know how to do money spells. So you feel like, oh, okay, let me just
yeah,
hop on it. Right,
yeah.
right.
You want respect, so pay respect. This is really quite simple, and I think that Hollywood has just put the spooky into it, and made people think that it's it's
Harry
spooky
Potter,
when it's
Harry
common
Potter
sense.
magic. Yeah.
It's just common sense. Do me like you want to be treated, and don't be coming summoning me after I've been asleep for 500, 600 years big.
Talk about you need your cell phone paid. Grandma, help me pay my cell phone, but you
And you're
ain't
not trying to do nothing to help yourself along the way. No.
not a damn thing. All you want to do is sit down, eat peanut butter chips ahoy and watch Netflix and all day and shit. And you
Yes.
want to go
So
to grandma who been working hard.
spirituality is not as spooky as people try to make it out to be. It's common sense. I mean, just come on. It's common sense once you pull away from the religion and you step away from the religion, you actually be kind of upset with yourself, because it's like, I can't believe I was like, really. I really thought that, like, wow.
Yeah.
But we all been there. Don't feel stupid or anything. We all been there, and we all still going there. We all still realizing things right now today. So it's
Yeah.
a lifelong journey.
Yes, it is. Ahsha, talk to us a little bit about, we'll get into your music and your art shortly, because I definitely want to touch into that. But talk to us a little bit about, the 21st, the Great Conjunction. A lot of people think it's the end of the world. It's when Jesus is coming back. It's when Armageddon and fireballs are supposed to come from the sky. But those of us that are in tune with the universe that we are in, we understand that we think universally, not just what's happening on Earth or what people tell us in books. So looking at space, the Jupiter Pluto conjunction is happening on, Jupiter Saturn Pluto conjunction is happening on the 21st at that 0 degree line. So everything's going to be at a balance. What do you see happening around that time, your prediction, so to speak, or your perspective? And also, what do you see happening after that time? As far as, the current events, presidents, and just, your overall perspective.
Well, I can go so many directions with the December 21st
Yeah,
situation.
go in.
As far as going on a religious standpoint, from someone who's been in that Bible and broken that Bible down many, many, many ways, all the way to the coding, which is what you really have to do with the Bible. You have to get that Strong's Concordance out and get that coding so you can know what those scriptures are actually saying. Um, December 21st, I personally don't look at it as a doomsday or anything like that. The veil that is on this matrix is thinning out, and it's getting thinner and thinner every day the more that this shift is taking place. So I personally just see it as that's around the time that the veil is going to be very, 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 very thin. So there are going to be certain things that you're going to be able to see, or that you will notice that you didn't quite notice before. That's just something that we all really should naturally be able to see and do. It's just that they have put this illusion over us to cover our eyes. That's the veil. That's the veil. And once you come away from all of this stuff, that veil is lifted so you're able to see things a little more clearly. A lot of the things that's taking place inside the Bible, they have to make come true. And why do they have to do these things? They have to do these things in order for people to still continue to believe in what they're putting inside of it, the things that they changed it up to. I'll put it that way. So if I put it like this, if I have information and I know more information about a subject than Mr. Rob knows, when Mr. Rob comes to me and asks me, I can manipulate Mr. Rob with that subject because I know more than what he knows. Although he hasn't quite researched it yet, he can know the same thing I know, but because he hasn't researched it, I have an advantage over him. So that's basically what's going on in the world today. Certain things they have to make come to pass so that you will continue to believe in the illusion. A lot of people are coming away from religion right now during these times. So I have to put some kind of doomsday um, mentality out into the world. I have to put that type of frequency out to keep people under wraps so that they'll still continue to be under control, because they know that this is going so rapidly. This awakening that's occurring in the universe, it's occurring so rapidly every day. Like I said, I have nieces and nephews that was laughing and things, and this was years ago, and now they're coming to me for advice. So this awakening is taking place all over the world with old and young. So if you go and you look into the Revelations side of the biblical portion, you will see that all these things is just enacting out. And that's that Babylon is in the process of falling. And in order for it to fall, that means the ideologies and the things that were tied to it has to fall. That's why you see a lot of these celebrities out here either really, really sick, or they're leaving the industry, or they're having some kind of issue with the industry, whereas you never heard of this before. Back in the past, you never heard of artists just coming out just left and right talking against the industry, speaking about the evilness that's going on behind the scenes. That's a part of the Babylon illusion, because these people have been in front of us. They've been placed in front of us to support the illusion. So it's just this, to me, it's just the revealing of all the illusions. It's going to get a little bit more intense. So you're going to start just really seeing things that are going to be quite tragic. Going to be quite tragic because of what we've been under, the deception that we've been under. So I don't look at December 21st. If the sun was to stop shining right now, I wouldn't be worried about that because I'm a life force. I'm a being. So I'm connected to the sun. So I wouldn't be worried about what's going to actually happen to me as long as I'm doing the work that I need to be doing to make sure that my spiritual body is protected, because that's the main thing that we need to focus on. They have us focusing on the outside. We need to focus on what's going on within behind closed doors, because a lot of these entities that can attach themselves to you are going to be a little more out there. So what can attach itself? Fear, jealousy, strife. We see it going on every day. It's constantly attaching to different people. So the main thing to worry about is just keeping your vibrations high, keeping your frequency high, staying grounded, making sure that you're doing what you can internally, whatever that is. If you don't have time to meditate, sit for 5 minutes with your eyes closed and just think of something. It's so many different ways that you can stay on a better frequency. Don't give in to what you're looking at on TV, especially the media. They're paid to lie. So
That's a
look at
fact.
all the other times that we've heard that the world was going to end, and here we are still. So the world, if it is going to end, that's a good thing. We don't want it to be like it used to be anyway. It's time for something new.
Yeah, this is hell. They say we live in
This is
hell anyway.
hell. Yes. Why
Yeah.
we want to stay in hell?
Right. Yeah.
And look, if this hell is ending, I am all for it. You hear me?
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
all for it.
you know, Ahsha, people are so, it's crazy. I've never seen people worried about the future so much as of this year. I've never seen so much anxiety about the future.
And that's
And I,
because we got look. That's because we have this media pushing all this coronavirus numbers and how people are just tragically dying. Me and my daughter. Now, this is a real true story. Me and my daughter was riding past the street the other day coming home, and on the way home, it's a hospital sitting right off to the left of us. That's right off the street we're riding past. No cars anywhere. This is a hospital.
mm,
I said, wait a minute. I live in Dallas. The numbers are supposed to be like really extreme here.
yeah,
Why are there no cars at this hospital? I mean, it's pretty much dry and empty. How are all these numbers skyrocketing, but the hospitals are not jam packed? I'm telling you, these hospitals, it shouldn't even be nowhere to park or anything where all these numbers supposed to be sky high. Stop listening to the media. They get paid to lie. They
hmm
get paid to lie. If without a story, there is no views. Without views, there is no money. They have to get views. A lot of it is just lies, and you can't just turn your TV on and just believe everything that you see on this television. That's why you need to be tapping in the spirit, so your spirit can be showing you what's real and what's fake, and not the illusion that you're trying to get away from, showing you what's real and fake.
great, great. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Asha, we are also experiencing, I believe, Venus and Scorpio going on. So, that's that deep love, right? That's that love that's in depth. That's how they say it in the church, that agape love, right? But now we talk about love between man and a woman. I guess that could be the agape love as well. It should be, right?
Yeah, it should
Ultimately,
be.
when you're with your lady or you're with your man or whatever, your thing is, it should be agape. Talk to us about relationships, gender wars, your perception on where do you think us, especially those of us that are melanated and in the Black community, how do you think we need to evolve in these relationships, and what type of work we need to do? Because there's a lot of division, between, especially
Yeah,
between black men,
there is.
black women, you know, black women want to
It's a
hustle
lot.
men out their money, black men want to
Yeah,
hustle black women out their bodies, right? Then
yeah, it's
so
a
there's
lot,
control
man.
pieces, root chakra issues. There's a lot.
It's a
Um,
lot.
Do you think things are getting better? And um, how do you think spiritually we could get in tune in order to be better, not only better people, but better lovers, and kind of bridge the gap, in that
Yeah.
sense.
Well, it's good that you asked me that. True story. I had a spiritual advisor come to me out of nowhere on Facebook, and it's crazy because I had just got with my producer and I was getting ready to work on my new album. And I was trying to think of a title for the album and, just get it together and just discussing with him all the things that I wanted to do. And this guy out of nowhere contacted me and he said, I was looking at your profile and everything, and he says, he said, you need to be operating on the 432 frequency. And it's crazy because I had just said that was going to be the title of my album, 432, the love frequency. And then he contacted me now, not knowing anything, and told me like confirmation. So
Mm,
it's little things like that. But I said that to say this. I really think that this us as a whole need to get back to love and loving one another and being okay with being open with one another about how we feel, what it is we want, what our hopes are, what our dreams are, and actually being able to find someone and be with someone who is on that same frequency. And that's what we're missing with all this music that they put out over the years. It's pretty much just made our men feel like they cannot come to us as women and be open without looking weak.
mm,
And that is so sad
true.
because women like me who are not on that frequency, who totally get that a man is just like me, they have feelings and they need to express just like I do. And they need love and nurturing just like me. And I think that when we were younger and we had the OJs and we had the Shy Lights and just people like that, and people that brought good wholesome music, that frequency, it to me it really helped with relationships because it helped us to be able to learn how to heal.
Mm,
Whereas now there is no healing in music. There's no healing there. It's all tragedy. If it's not talking about sex in a degrading way, it's talking about men degrading each other in women in a degrading way, or it's talking about women degrading men in a bad way, or seeing men in a bad light. And I think it's the frequency of the music that's out here, and then you have these radio stations that are pushing that frequency. So I think it's mainly of being able to get back to some good, clean, wholesome music to help us to be able to heal and know how to heal in relationships. And then a lot of us didn't have that type of experience in the home because we may didn't have a mother and father in the home. And if we did have a mother and father in the home, they might not have been very loving to one another. So it could have been different situations that we grew up looking at and experiencing where we were lacking the other part to help us to be able to deal with certain situations in relationships, like coping skills. A lot of people cheat because they don't know how to cope. So I mean, just honesty. And then a lot of people cheat because they can't say just what it is to their mate. They don't know how to communicate with their mate, or sit their mate down and just let them know, this is what I'm missing in a relationship, or this is what I'm needing more of. So I think just us being able to communicate with each other would really spark something very important in us actually being able to listen without being convicting all the time or judgmental. I think that's another thing we're missing with one another, as far as that, mainly more understanding than anything.
Yeah, yeah. I also, to add on, I also think that, when you first meet somebody, you meet their representative, right? And that's just,
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
just human nature, right? Everybody puts their
Exactly.
best foot forward. It's just like an
Hmm.
interview, right? You do your best on an interview, and then after a couple months, you see who the person really is, right? And I think a lot of times, especially those, well, I can speak for myself and things that I used to do, just hopping from a relationship and then wanting that security of relationship or having someone and then hopping into another relationship and so forth and so on, but still not feeling satisfied, right? And it's just coming from a masculine perspective and feeling like that I needed to conquer as many women as possible in order to kind of get that validation. You know what I'm saying? I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? I'm the man, so I'm sleep with all these women, you know what I'm saying? I have this power and this is what makes me whole, instead of really realizing that the true power comes from within, you know what I'm saying? And what I'm actually creating and developing with the woman that I take my time to get to know, the same way I'm taking time to get to know myself. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just rushing in, oh, she looks good, or you know what I'm saying, she has some nice Guess jeans on, or you know what I'm saying, whatever, you know, the thing.
And you know,
That
and
you
it's
just look
crazy
on,
because
you know.
and that's true, because like with the representative, I say that the representative shows up until the first year. And I say that because after the first year, that's when you really start getting comfortable with the person. You starting to settle in, and all the stuff that you were throwing out, you forgot about. So now you're not doing any of that anymore. So I say the representative stays for about a year. And the sad part is most people get hooked on the representative, and they can't see past that stage, and that's really sad that we feel we have to come to a person and be fake when
Yeah.
we should just really be able to just be ourselves and be okay with being ourselves and somebody just loving us for who we are.
What would you define as love, Asha? What would you, if somebody asked you, what's the definition of love? They came from another planet. What would you say that is?
Uh, to me, love is more overstanding. It's not even an understanding. It's overstanding. I think once you have overstanding of certain things, then you can pretty much go from there and do whatever else that it takes. So that would mean being able to cope. That would mean being able to work the situation out, whatever it's going to take. That would mean building, supporting a person's dreams. I think it's just more of just not having the overstanding. I really think that's what love is completely, because you have to be able to understand someone to love them truly, especially if they have a lot of flaws.
Yeah, that is a fact. Yeah, because you gotta also
You got to be able to overlook those flaws.
yeah,
So,
and be
yeah,
willing to
so that's
go through the ups and downs too with that person, right? Because a lot of times you could tell who a person really is when you're down. You know what I'm
that's
saying? When
right.
shit is hard. Like
That's right.
everybody wants to love you when you're up.
Oh
It's just
yeah.
like when you're in a relationship, right? That's when all the guys start calling the exes or the ex girls start calling, right? Because you're in a
Hmm.
relationship, you're up, you're shining. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Flies
Looking
attracted,
good
flies are
on
attracted to shit,
somebody
you
else's
know?
arm. Yeah.
You the shit, you know what I'm saying? So now you getting on them, everything's buzzing around you, you know?
Yeah.
You got that glow. So, you know, it's most important to develop yourself, family. When you recognize who you are within yourself, you recognize who other people are as well. And you're also able to make better choices in your relationships because you know
That's
who
right.
you are. So you know what you want, you know what you don't want, you know what you like, you know what you dislike. And that's why some people that come around in your life are lessons and some people are blessings, because
Mhm.
everyone in your life is a mirror reflection of who you are. People that are in your intimate circle, you know what I'm saying? Like I dropped yesterday, there's 3 people in life, Asha. You know what I'm saying? You could co-sign this if you want. The one person is the people who inspire you, the people who make you feel better, the people who make you feel joyous, right? They might make you laugh, they might have a kind word, shoulder to lean on when you're down, right? Then you have the regular background person you don't care about. You walk back to them, past them in the street, supermarket. Background players of your video game, right? They don't really matter in the grand sense of things. And the third person are the energy vampires, the people that drain you, the things that drain you, et cetera, et cetera. The people that you feel bad around, right? You basically feel like they're sucking the blood from you, the life from you, right? Bloodsuckers, vampires. And
Mhm.
I think we, as people that are on this path, we have to choose, you know, because it could be lonely, but it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be. You
Yeah.
know, if you choose the right partners, and not just sexual or intimate partners, but the right partnerships of people, you know, having people that you could go to for counsel, you know what I'm saying? Other people that are in magical or spiritual communities. Your partner, of course, should be in the or on this way of life. And also, I want to say this because I was thinking about this last night. A lot of people are in relationships, they're waking up with people that are not waking up and people that are not on the path. Don't destroy them or don't demonize them or don't try to get them to see your way of life like immediately. You got this new knowledge, it's exciting. I know you want to tell everybody. If they don't respond to it, don't demonize them, don't bash them, don't make them feel bad because you weren't that person before. So you got to work with them. The best example is your lifestyle. The best example is who you are. Like Ahsha said, you know what I'm saying? If you live in this lifestyle, people are going to come to you that you never thought. People that I worked with coming to me for readings. People that I worked with at my job were coming to me for spell work. Like once they saw me on Instagram doing this type of, it was like, oh, you do this? Yeah, let me get a read. On Facebook. Oh, you do this? Yeah, let me get it. And I'm surprised. I'm like, yo, you want to read it? They like, yeah, nigga, I want to read it. You know what I'm saying? I know what you're doing. So you gotta my sister, it's just as funny, in 2020 and 2019, even like the way people will respond if you are living the lifestyle. And first, not only living a lifestyle, because it's one thing to talk about it, right? Anybody could talk about it. There's millions of books out here. Anybody could read a book and come out here on YouTube and regurgitate it. But if people don't see you actually manifesting and actually creating things and actually doing things and actually becoming a better person, then it's not really, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. You're just doing it for book knowledge and you're just feeding your ego instead of feeding your spirit. You know what I'm saying? Anybody, is very easy. And again, if you have a photographic memory, it's very easy to get books, read them, memorize them, and regurgitate the information. That's one thing. But it's another thing to actually live the lifestyle so that the information actually works for you and it's evident in your life and your lifestyle. The only reason certain people come to me because they seen the things I manifested. They see me at the job. Oh, how you get this management position and you ain't even kissing no ass. And you get the top team at the job. Like these are things that I was going through. You know what I'm saying? How you get the supervisor position and you ain't, you know what I'm saying? You ain't doing half as much as the other people. You know what I'm saying? I got my ancestors and I got my visions and I got these candles if need be. But most importantly, this is right. This is not to say that you're not going to stumble and you're not going to have your bad days, right? This is not saying you're going to have a perfect life. If you're looking for a perfect life, I'm sorry. When somebody smacked you on the ass when you came out your mama's belly, you know what I'm saying? So that's to let you know this life is going to be full of some sort of pain at some point in time, right? You got shots, right? It's pain at some points in time that you're going to have to go through in life. It's unavoidable. But how you react and respond is really what determines the way you interact with your five senses, those electrical signals that are interpreted by your brain. Think about it. Your reality, you live in a holographic universe. We live in a universe that is holograms, zeros and ones, right? Strictly binary code, and which is what our computers are programmed on. And in this holographic universe, we have to learn how to interpret information that's given to us and determine if that energy is on one of those three spectrums. Some energy that y'all are taking seriously is really the energy that's background play in your video games. You know what I'm saying? Some of the energy that we are focused on really is, and I give you an example. Who's talking about George Floyd and Breonna Taylor right now on the internet? Nobody. Nobody. This just happened in what June, Ahsha? March, April, June?
Not
That's
not
happened.
not too far from down. Yeah.
And I think Brianna's even earlier. You know what I'm saying? I think Brianna's like 2-3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, go on all the people that was talking, all your talking heads, look at what they talking about. They're either talking about Trump and Bush, you know what I'm saying? Or they're talking about motherfucking coronavirus and the numbers. Those are the two big things in the news right now. Nobody gives a fuck about George Floyd. Nobody gives a fuck about Black Lives Matter. Nobody gives a fuck about criminal justice or police brutality because it's not in the media and in your face. These things should have been background plays to your video game. They should not have been either draining your energy on the bloodsucker side or inspiring you on the well, if it is going to inspire you, it should inspire you to create shit for yourself and develop shit for yourself. If you're going to develop shit for the community, that's fine, but that still is a part of you. Whatever you develop is a part of you. So you got to be right first before you can really develop anything for anybody else.
That's
So
right.
the first person you should focus on is you. If you're here, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys for those that are watching. I appreciate you guys here. Ahsha, tell us a little bit about, well, not a little bit, tell us about your music, your poetry, and anything that you want to leave the people before we
Oh,
get up out.
thank you. Okay, so right now I'm working on an album. It's called 432 the Love Frequency. In this album, I just really wanted to bring back the frequency of love into music. Like I said, that's what's missing in today's music scene. You don't really see it. So what I'm doing in this album is I'm putting a compilation of different genres. So it's gonna be some neo soul, some jazz, some blues, some R&B. It's gonna be some funk. It's gonna be a little bit of everything in this album and on this album. Previously, I was doing spoken word. A lot of my music is on number1music.com. So you can go on there as well and check out my previous songs that I had. The first album that I did was actually a compilation of different things that I experienced going through my marriage and going through divorce and things like that. And this album here is all about just love, being able to communicate. So that's kind of like basically what this album is about: communication in relationships, the different situations you go through in relationships, how those situations are handled, how to address the "what are we" conversation that's in one of my songs called Katuba. So that's a really neat little track to learn how to come at the male to ask him, that question, because that tends to be a little scary for men. So,
What's that question again? What's that question?
what are we question?
Okay, what are we? Yeah, that's a that's a scary question.
What
Depending on
are we question?
depending on
So yeah,
what you have in your
I
mindset.
actually
Yeah.
had that experience this year, and I was like, oh, so I go into to my producer, and he has the little burger of the day on his little whiteboard. And so we got to talking about. He said, "Well, go. Let's get in the studio, going in the booth," and then we wrote, and then Katuba came out,
Mm.
which is basically a Jewish agreement. But I figured, a woman can make her own ketubah with a man, so I wrote ketubah. It's the "what are we" conversation.
Mm.
And then we have Find Your Purpose. That's blues, kind of like a blues funk style track, but it's basically about how a lot of my relationships has been with me doing music. A lot of guys that I dated couldn't get into the fact that I have to go into the studio and I have to do shows and I have to be in front of people. So that's what Find Your Purpose is about. But it's got a little blues funky type of beat. So I'm just gonna make you swing, swing out.
Mm-hmm.
I like feel good music. Music you can ride to, music you can dance to, music you can relax to, you can meditate to. Just pretty much anything that's on the love frequency is gonna be on this album, and it's gonna be 13 tracks.
Ahsha, do you have a Cash App or anything like that? I'm gonna put it in the comments.
My
You can
Cash App
donate.
is it's the little
Dollar
money
sign.
sign.
Mm-hmm. I
I'm
got
new
you.
Cash App, y'all. I'm still trying to get up to par.
That's okay.
It's the little money sign, and it's Ahsha, Ahsha Fiyah. But
Okay.
my songs are on the music platforms. So Get Gone, which is my new release right now, that's on all the music platforms: Spotify, Pandora, iTunes, Apple Music, Google. It's on all the platforms. And the album should be released it's sometime in December, maybe the middle month. So I got like 3 more tracks that I'm working on that are going to be like a Caribbean style. So it's going to be a nice little compilation of different sounds and colors.
Okay. And where can they find your work again? What's the website?
You can go to number1music.com. That's NUMBERONE music.com. You can also check me out on Facebook under Ahsha Fiyah Harris. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. Pretty much, if you Google my name, you will be able to find me. So, all my previous performances, if you want to see how I get down when I come to your town, you can see all of that. Online is AHSHA and then a space FIYAH. And on Facebook, I have 3 pages on there. So if you Google Ahsha Fiyah, you're going to find me, or you may Google Ahsha Fiyah Harris. But yeah, anywhere you look, that's where I plan on being. And I plan on bringing some good, solid, crisp, beautiful, healing music back to the music scene, something we are definitely missing. So it's gonna be like your it's gonna be like going back to your childhood.
Yes, yes. And that's what we need, you know. And to the God bodies, you know, we need Aisha's doing her work. I'm here doing my work. We're doing our work together right now. You know, her channel is music. Mine is through, you know, YouTube, writing, different things like that, creation, you know, creating,
That's
creation.
right.
Those that are closest to God are creators. I firmly believe that. Those that are least closest to God are consumers.
That's right.
I think a mass consumer is nothing more than a pig. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Like literally, you're just a human. You're just a human in that you're not in a pig body, you know, but
Hmm.
we've been trained and miseducated into being mass consumers in America. I mean, we just had Black Friday, you know, a couple days ago in the middle of a fucking pandemic. You know,
Hmm.
how dare you say I got a social distance every place in the world, but on a plane, I don't have to be social distance. And if I go into a packed Walmart, I don't have to social distance, right? So you got to really realize the game that's being played and the wool that's being put on under over your eyes and shit
Hmm.
under your eyes too, so that
Yes.
you don't see within yourself and you don't really see outside of yourself outside. All you see is buy, consume, buy, consume. You want to be happy, get a new car. You want to get love, get new eyelashes. Yo, these eyelashes sisters are yo, they crazy right now. But you want to you know what I'm saying, you want to have a certain man, you want to get a man with money, get this plastic surgery. You want to get a certain girl, you know what I'm saying, get wear the Balenciagas, you know what I'm saying, get the Gucci, you know what I'm saying, get all these chains, these choker, you know, all these ways that we are fed, you know what I'm saying, into doing their bidding. And we don't even realize it. And it's not really for us that are, you know what I'm saying, people that are like, you know, seasoned, so to speak, people that are over 30, 35, you know what I'm saying? It's really designed to target the youth, you know what I'm saying? But if your brain's not developed, as I was talking about earlier, your brain start, you know, in my other video, at 25 years old, you know what I'm saying? You have your brain is not fully developed till you're 25. So once you're 25, it's up to you to learn and unlearn everything that you've been taught up to 25. Now, if you've been taught the right things and good foundation and things like that, it's much easier. If you haven't, it's much harder, right? But it could still happen. You know what I'm saying? People in worse situations have gotten over the things, and you've been in worse situations than whatever you're on now if you're in a bad situation. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're not in an ideal situation, you've been through worse, and someone's always going through worse. So while we're going through this full moon in Gemini, again, really think about how you're communicating. Asha is a master communicator, so she's communicating through her poetry, she's communicating through her art, and therefore spreading goodwill, good cheer, and good guidance. And as she said, and one of my goals is the same as one of her goals, is to not reincarnate and to be a vessel to others in the ancestral realm. You know what I'm saying? To help others and to help this new age of Aquarius continue trucking. It's 200 years. You know, depending on the advances of technology, you know, who knows what I'll be in the flesh the next 20 years, but in the you know, in the flesh, I'm going to perish at one point. You know what I'm saying? This fleshly body, this avatar body will go, but won't go is here. What won't go is my energetic signature that even got me here. You know what I'm saying? Got me in my mama's womb. So you another thing I would recommend if you can, something I did this morning and kind of put me in real good vibes, you know what I'm saying? Just mentally, is go back and watch Black is King. And if you're a black man too, it's essential too. Go watch Black is King. Like really watch it, really look at the visuals. It's been a couple of months. You've heard the propaganda, but really go back and watch it. And when you watch it with the what do they call it? Closed caption. So you could read the words while you're watching it. This way you could affirm yourself at the same time you're doing the visual. So remember, this is another way of hacking yourself. You could watch things. And as Ahsha said, so let's say I'm watching like a music video or something, or I'm watching some a lecture or something that I'm interested in. Turn on that 432 hertz. Put that in the background, that love frequency in the background of your music. If you're feeling unloved, if you're feeling depressed, watch something happy, put that in the background. This way you're rewiring yourself. Neurons that fire together rewire. So you're rewiring yourself. When you're watching something on TV, put some nature sounds in the background. Put 528 hertz when you're listening to a lecture like this. Put 33 hertz in the background, right? Get your mind bright, because these frequencies will allow you to hardwire in this brain of yours, this brain which is a vehicle for your mind. It will enable you to hardwire these type of ideas, this philosophy, and the more you repetitively do these things, it becomes a lifestyle. And what happens is your spirit, yourself, your physical spirit will push you in the direction. If you're not going in that direction, you'll start to become depressed. That's really how it is. If you're on this path and you start feeling depressed or you start feeling stressed out, it's listen, ask yourself why. You don't have to do no readings or nothing. If you do have your cards, of course, do your readings and, get your insight, go to your oracles or whatever. But the best oracle is you. So let's say you're broke, you have nothing, right? Use this and ask your spirit guides. But like Ahsha said, don't just go when shit hits the fan, you lose the job or you lose the boyfriend or the girlfriend, and now you want to come in. Not to say that it's too late, but you got to build a relationship with these ancestors. You know what I'm saying? I pour my libations. I got cups on my altar right now. You know what I'm saying? I give homage to my ancestors. I give homage to my dead homies. This is something that I think about on a ritualistic basis. So by me giving my ancestors light, right, they in turn are giving me light. The law of polarity, as above, so below. You know what I'm saying? Or my ancestors are in me, really. They're in our DNA, right? Our junk DNA, but they're still, spirit form. So as above, so below, the law of polarity. These are things we learn in the Kabbalion, if you have the book, the Kabbalion, the 7 Kemetic laws. Not Hermetic, they're Kemetic laws. They're the laws of thought, or Tahuti. So, Ahsha, thank you for your time. Any wisdom that you want to leave the people? I know you left your information. I put your Cash App in the comments. If you're here, please like, share, subscribe. This conversation could be helping people. And anything you want to share, just about the effects of music, the effect of poetry, the written word, and just some things you see manifest. I know you talked about with the 428, but some things that you see manifest, or just leave the people with a good word of wisdom and stuff like that. I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Well, I just say a good word of wisdom is to just always love yourself. So once you love yourself, everything else pretty much is gonna start coming to you. And don't let other people try to tell you what's evil and what's good, because in the Bible it also says that God creates good and he creates evil. So that being said, not to necessarily say that God is evil, but just to let you know that anything can be used for good or evil. Anything. So don't let someone tell you that what you're doing or the path you're going down is wicked or it's evil and you're going to die and go to hell and all this stuff. Just do what your spirit, what your inner spirit, what your inner you is showing you or leading you to do, because that is going to be the right way, regardless to what anybody outside of you says. What matters is what your inner you is saying. So listen to that at all times and you can't go wrong.
Definitely. Yeah. You're right. Trust your heart, trust your gut, trust your
Mm-hmm.
intuition.
Mm-hmm.
Don't allow, don't let the physical world determine your inner reality.
Mm-mm.
Let your inner reality determine the physical world for you. Do it in reverse, because we're
That's
taught
right.
reverse, that the outer world is going to control our inner world. But let the inner world control your outer world, and you'll see the big changes that happen in your life. Put your best
Mm-hmm.
foot forward. as far as these things. Again, ritual, repetition. If you want, like I told you on another video, if you want spell work, there's many people that do spell work, but again, you could go on Pinterest. Any type of spell that you need is on Pinterest, and just type in what type of spell you're looking for. But don't just go for the spells and without trying to develop yourself. It doesn't make sense. You're not going to have enough energetic resonance to even do the spell correctly. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't. You're not even going to have enough energy to power it up because your emotions are not right. Your emotions are not there. You don't know how to channel this energy appropriately. You don't know how to work with moons. You don't know how to work with solstices. You don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have a good relationship with your ancestors, none of those things. So get these things right. Now is the time, plenty of time before the 21st. Full moon, lunar eclipse in Gemini. I know I told you I was going to do some readings the week before, but I didn't get to it. But tomorrow I will be doing some readings. So log in. It'll probably be early in the day because I got to bring up my daughter later. So I will be doing readings tomorrow. I'll send out, like y'all know, in the community section, so y'all see when I do it. But it'll be earlier in the afternoon. I'll be off tomorrow, so I'm not gonna work. I'm gonna be doing in the morning, just meditating and just taking in the vibe of the day. I probably go. Oh, and let me say this too. If you have a power center, right? Find power centers in your city. There's all sorts of power centers. You know what I'm saying? There's places that have, and again, it takes work because you definitely have to be in tune. That's that heart being light as a feather, right? That's what that my eye energy is. Your heart being light as a feather. So when you feel it, you know what I'm saying? Like for instance, in New York City, there's Washington Square Park here in New York City. Every time I walk into that park, my energy shifts. So that's a power center for me. I could sit in there and meditate and I get downloads easily, right? Also, Battery Park, right? There's a part of Battery Park. I'm not going to tell y'all that because that's my center. That's really, Battery Park is my motherfucking center, right? So that's like Holy Land for me. I give y'all Washington Square Park, but Battery Park, that's my center. And there's spots in Battery Park where I go, and as soon as I go to the spot, you know what I'm saying? So there's areas in your city, in your town, you know what I'm saying? There's mounds, there's pyramids, there's different glyphs, there's different statues. Find these areas in your town where you could find and harness energy along these ley lines, you know what I'm saying? So you continue to inspire yourself. Work with the earth, work with the sun, work with the moon, you know what I'm saying? Don't limit yourself. And like Ahsha said, make it fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Make it
make
fun.
it
Use your
fun.
imagination. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so strict with it. Don't think, you know what I'm saying? Oh, if I put a tangerine instead of an orange on the altar, so Oshun gonna get mad. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? It's about the energy. You know what I'm saying? It's about the energy. It's about the offering. It's the fact that you'd even take your time to make this type of offering to Oshun or the deities. That's what it's really about, right?
Yeah.
Deities don't need no fucking, you know what I'm saying? They don't need no apples from you or no oranges or no cinnamon. Really? Really? Why does
Really.
energy need your human existence? This frail ass human body that could literally be punched into a pulp. You know what I'm saying? Why do they and which you living in this earth, this hellish earth? Why do they need you? Really? You know what I'm saying? So you need them. So it's your energy that you're utilizing to create and form these bonds. Something that science is calling quantum mechanics, where light interacts with other light. So you need them. So put your energy forward, put a pure heart forward, put love forward. You know what I'm saying? Love, to me, love is empathy.
That's
Empathy
right.
leads to compassion. When you're empathetic, you're able to put yourself in your ancestors' shoes, you're able to put yourself in other person's shoes. Therefore, you're able to understand them. And empathy is something that takes time as well. You can't just be empathetic. Well, something could happen. Somebody could get shot right in front of you. You're going to see the blood. You're going to feel for them, right? But true empathy is knowing that person's history, knowing who their mom is, knowing who their cousin is. Now you really know that person, and that
Mm-hmm.
probably would take place in the hospital after you got shot, right? So it's going
Yeah.
to take some time. So learn to love yourself and give yourself time. Don't try to rush and be a master
Mm-hmm.
magician within a month. Don't try to rush and be a self master within a month. It's going to take time. It took all of us time to get to Ahsha. My line, it took you time. It takes all of us
No,
time
and
to
I'm
get to
still
where we
growing and learning. So.
exactly. It's a never ending, it's a daily
It's a
process.
never ending learning journey. So look at it as that. And nobody can tell you how fast to go down it. I actually had that experience coming into the occult where someone who was supposed to be a high priestess was like rush, 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 rush. And I'm like, you can't be coming from spirit because yeah, your energy is not right. So just take your time. Don't let nobody rush you, and don't be trying to rush yourself, because a lot of times you're trying to rush open your third eye. Third eye probably already open,
Right.
and you making it close back up because you're trying to rush.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
For
just
real.
take your time.
Yeah. You trying to rush and walk through walls and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be invisible and
You're
shit.
trying to walk through a wall that you don't even know
Hmm.
how to get out of if you get stuck.
And you're not even comfortable in the crowd. You're not even
Yeah.
comfortable public speaking, but you want to walk
Right.
through walls. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
So
saying? You're not comfortable around women or men. You're nervous and shaking. You know what I'm saying? You got anxiety the minute you see coronavirus on the news, but you want to walk through walls,
yeah, you got to
ride through
master
the news.
yourself, and
You
that's
gotta master
mastering
yourself.
all those fears and things that they put into us, all those ideologies that of fear and grief and being less than. That's what you have to master. Master
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. And with that said, thank you guys for the love, for the donations, for the
Yeah,
support.
thanks for everybody tuning in, and thank you for inviting me on.
You're very, very welcome. And we'll definitely do this again in the future.
Cool.
Asha, appreciate your
Yeah, maybe you could
energy.
do a reading for me.
Yeah, I got you, man. Hit me off. I ain't gonna do it today. I ain't gonna front. I ain't gonna do it today. But hit me off too. Hit me
I
up.
understand.
I got you.
I understand.
Yeah. I got you though. I got you. For sure, for sure. And if anybody needs a reading, again, I'll be doing them tomorrow. So yeah, I'll be doing some free readings tomorrow for y'all. Also donation based if you want to jump to the front of the line. I also have my magic class, elemental magic class. It's a 4-week course, an hour, where we dive deep into your elements based on your sun and moon signs, so you can learn how to master not only your personality using magic and using the esoteric, but also manage your inner self and your outer self. So you want to manifest, this, the car, the house, the thing, the job, all these things, you know what I'm saying? You could do that. But if you want to master your inner self, your chakras, you could do that as well. So I pretty much show you how to use magic along the elemental lines. So people that have graduated, it's great information. As you guys know, I've been giving information for quite some time on here. I dive deep. So with that said, I look forward to seeing you guys. If you're interested, hit me up, blackstormrob@gmail.com, blackstormrob@gmail.com, blackstormrob@gmail.com. You can hit up Ahsha. She said Ahsha Fiyah Harris at Facebook. Ahsha Fiyah, I believe it's Ahsha Fiyah on Instagram, right? Yeah,
No,
Ahsha
it's
Fiyah.
Fire Asha on Instagram.
Fiyah Ahsha on Instagram.
Yeah,
Okay.
Fire
And
Asha.
she also has a YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel, Ahsha?
Yeah, it's under Asha Fire. My YouTube channel is under Asha Fire.
And they could find your
So
music and
yeah.
everything like
But
that.
if you
Okay.
Google me, you can find me just by typing in Asha Fire. So it'll
Okay,
lead you wherever
perfect.
you need to go.
All right. So there it is.
Go and Google.
You have your marching orders. All right. Spend some money with the sis, spend some of that Black Friday money with a Black person, spend some money with the sister, you know what I'm saying? She got some great work. And go out and create some great work. You know what I'm saying? I want to
Yeah, I
highlight y'all.
plan on it.
You know what
Y'all
I'm saying?
check it out because I'm definitely aiming to please on this
Yes.
album.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Yeah, and I haven't listened to it. I did listen to the tracks you sent me, but I didn't listen to it all the way because I was kind of,
That's fine.
but I definitely 432. I mean, I listen to that shit all the time as background music when I'm working. So yeah, so definitely looking forward to it. I will be putting that in. Hopefully
Cool.
you guys are, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm in the Mercury mode.
Alrighty.
I might pop back out tonight. You never know. You never know. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. I may go live again tonight. You never know. I'm in the spirit right now. I'm in channeling mode. I feel it. I feel the vibe. I feel, I feel the grace of the Lord. And hopefully you guys do too. You know what I'm saying? So with that said, shout out to y'all again. Peace, power,
Peace.
prosperity. Have a
Peace.
great one.